Castlevania, because it's a good series, it is a good animated series that respects the source material. In that order, yes. I don't know.
More original
I
than an
haven't played
adaptation.
the original. No, it's not. It does follow, at least loosely, the plot of Castlevania. I don't know. I haven't played any of the Castlevania games.
Neither have I.
But my
all speculation.
point was more, they're making a movie, or in this case, a series, to be a good series first and foremost, rather than trying to compare it or work in the framework. I feel like video game movies or shows, as a general rule, they put themselves into the box of video game movies because they advertise themselves and they work into that, which I think is detrimental to the entire process. You just keep disappearing. Like, there's no sound effects. You just fall over dead.
Yeah, I have literally no idea what's doing it to me. Oh, so that's where the shotgun shell is.
No, exactly, and that was my point, because they're aiming as a what the fuck? They're aiming as a video game movie rather than a movie. And that's why I say you need to make it as a movie first, because it needs to be enjoyable to people who know nothing about the source material. It needs to be watchable by people who don't play video games. And that's where the flaw is, because if you're only marketing to people who've played that specific game, you're cutting off a huge amount of your market, and you're also hyper-focusing on a target audience that's too narrow, honestly. Because the thing is, people see... Well, I would say because, for example, the Warcraft movie, right? They went for a specific thing.
Yes, people's wallets.
Where... Yes, but what I mean by narrow is people are like, we want to make this for fans of this specific thing. But the thing is, you're right, gaming it. Well, it actually is in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, but that's why I'm saying they're doing it too specifically, right? Because I don't think a Resident Evil movie should be hyper-targeted towards Resident Evil fans. It should be targeted towards horror fans. And respect the Resident Evil source material. You understand the difference there? Like, if you're targeting Resident Evil fans, you're only getting a subset of horror fans, so you're effectively cutting down on your own market. And I'm aware.
It's also an action game, so... You...
Yeah, see, and that's where I agree with you in that it needs to be a competent film first and a...
One of the hardest things that I've heard a lot of directors talk about and a lot of people individually talk about when it comes to adapting video games into movies is that video games were designed firstly and foremostly to put the player at the center of the experience and have the world revolve around them so that they unravel the story at their own pace and engage with, you know, the world itself. It's very hard for a passive medium like movies to, you know, let the viewer, not the player, explore the world at their own pace because they are being handheld through a story.
Ironically, I actually think that's why the Warcraft would have been a really good, if they target it more towards fantasy fans rather than just hyper targeting towards Warcraft. I actually think that would have been a good one, because it is less of what you're saying, right, Alex? It's not focused around you playing one thing. Yes, you're playing the game, right? But you're playing through multiple different stories from multiple different perspectives. You get what I mean? You've played through Warcraft 3, haven't you? Or have you?
Yeah, I've played
Warcraft
through
3 and Frozen Throne. Between the two of them, there are like 8 different mini campaigns covering
8
the
different
story
perspectives of the story they're telling.
Of different perspectives, and that comes together because you've got two, basically, in the base game and the expansion, you've got a short campaign for each of the 4 races, focused around their section of the story, and it all links into one combined narrative, to one cohesive narrative. Right, so I think if that was targeted more towards a general fantasy audience rather than, again,
the World of Warcraft
hyper-focusing on Warcraft, I think that could have worked really well.
One of the biggest examples I can call on in particular the World of Warcraft movie is when they showed off the main city where the king was. It
Valoran, I think.
Wherever it was. When they showed it off, it did not feel like, oh, look at this massive, beautiful fucking fantasy city that we have here. Like, look at how it fits into the world. You get like sort of a sense for the architecture and all that. It felt entirely just, look, it's from the video game. Look, it's that city from the video game. Look. Yeah, which doesn't work. Yeah, absolutely. You can't retell a video game story because a video game story was not developed by having someone sit passively by. It was developed by having, you know, someone actively participate in it. Yeah, literally the most engaging medium. There is no fourth wall on video games. Yeah. And then, fucking, you're not good, so the story goes at whatever pace you set. And two, it entirely comes down to the personality, because that's just Twitch streaming. Why the fuck would I watch you try and create a multi-million-dollar budget of a movie when I can just go watch someone who's never played the fucking game before experience that for the first time?
Forward, warriors, and fear not pain or death. Go, officer. I'll follow when our reinforcements arrive. Careful now.
Oh, I saw that Mei on the internet.
Keep moving. I'm on my way. Dangerous sign.
To go back to a point we were talking about earlier, I was having a look on the site. The Castlevania series, at least for seasons 1 and 2, I don't know where they went before that, was a fairly faithful adaptation of the story of the third Castlevania. However, they took a lot of their own liberties to effectively translate it to make it a good show, because by default, well, just as a video, translating that one for one, it wouldn't work as a story. And one of the biggest changes I saw they made was they cut out one of the playable characters from the story entirely to be able to focus on the character of the others. Well, no,
which character was that? Was that Trevor?
I got no fucking clue.
Simon. It would have been Simon Belmont.